What's up? This is Chris Caffrey from Sabotage, Trans-Siberian Orchestra, and Chris Caffrey, and you are watching CMS TV.
I know you guys, the three of you, have taken the big beating for years, decades even, about the not touring. And I'm not going to ask you, are you going to get back together? Yeah, I'm not going to ask that. What I will ask, though, is, and I'm looking at it through a different lens, I see maybe the best thing that you did was stop touring so that you don't end up like so many of your contemporaries with bad audio and bad video from bad YouTube videos showing the band getting older. Like, people, when they think about Triumph, and for better or for worse, the vision that you get is that 1983 US Festival stage and you guys just killing it. And I think you guys have done a great job at preserving that image as Triumph for eternity. Do you think that the not touring has helped your career or your value in the rock industry stay strong?
Yeah, it's a great question. And I mean, to me, I'm just so happy with the decisions that we made. Even though at the time, you know, say for example, my decision to get off the road was personal because of my family. For one positive reason, I wanted to be there to watch my kids grow up.
Sure.
Didn't want to be, you know, staying in a hotel in Tuktoyaktuk instead of being there for my kids and going to, you know, elementary school, picking them up and driving them there with my wife and stuff. That was extremely important to me. My mom was elderly and I'm an only child. I couldn't leave my mom alone. I just couldn't do it because she did everything for me my whole life. And when she needed me in the last decade of her life, I wasn't going to be in a hotel room a long ways away. You know, and Mike had his own reasons. Rick wanted to do his solo stuff, as we know, and he did a bunch more recording in different genres and so on. We all had our motivations. And I mean, the other thing is the ride we had in Triumph was so good. And I mean, even the very last tour we played, the audiences were so great. And we kind of felt, well, this is a good time to get off the bus because, you know, we're kind of at a peak almost.
CHRIS Akin Presents, and I, of course, am Chris Akin. And today on the show, I love when the legends check in, and this is definitely one of them. The band is Triumph. They have a new tribute out there, Magic Power, a tribute to Triumph. And here to talk all about it, it's a celebrity project for people that don't know, but you're going to find out in a minute, because here to talk about it is the legendary member of Triumph himself, Mr. Gil Moore. Gil, how are you?
Great, Chris. Nice to be here.
Yeah, it's great to have you here, man. And look, as a fan of what you do, it's great to see that you're finally getting the tribute that I think you're deserved. You know, as one of those bands that here in the States kind of flew under the radar a lot, it's great to see so many American artists willing to tributize the music that you did. Let's start there. I have to imagine that's a good feel for you, yes?
Oh, 100%. I mean, I know I'm speaking for Mike and Rick when I say this, that you know, it's just kind of overwhelming because we're fans, obviously, of so many of these musicians and have looked at their, you know, great songs, great recordings, great performances, all this stuff, and to have them actually kind of tip their hat to us is super special, Chris.
Sure. Do you, when you look back, and I mean, obviously you were there when it was all happening, probably didn't even realize it was happening when it was happening. When you look back on it as one of the guys that was in the trenches with Triumph, do you feel like you were appreciated appropriately, or do you feel like, kind of like I do, that you guys really flew under the radar, at least here in the States?
No, I never felt underappreciated. I mean, we were a touring band, so we didn't just play the big cities. You know, we played the Detroits and the Clevelands and the
Hmm.
Chicagos and New York and LA, etc. But, we went into the hinterland. We played, the smaller towns, and so we met the people, and that's where you really feel the genuine American population wrapping their arms around you. And let's face it, Chris, there's all kinds of Canadian bands that tried to come across the border, they just couldn't do it for
Hmm.
whatever reason. Like their music didn't resonate, in America like it did with some Canadian fans. And we had the opposite effect. We came across and felt like, gee, this is actually going really well. Maybe it's because we started in Texas, and whatever works in Texas works everywhere. I'm not I can't explain it, but of course you don't expect to end up with the appreciation that we're getting now. I think the documentary that came out a few years ago triggered, a lot of people's memories. And of course, some of the bands that were contemporaries that kept touring and kept touring, after, 2000 or in the 90s and so on, when we weren't touring, they were keeping the flame burning for their bands. And we, had a harder time doing that because we decided not to tour.
Hmm.
Uh, Not sure if I answered the question
No, you
appropriately.
did, of course.
I'm meandering around a bit here.
No, that's okay. Well, Gil, let's dig into the record a little bit. If unless I've heard wrong, Mike Clink brought this to you guys. Is that correct? Or had the idea?
Yeah, I mean, I'd say that it starts with a label, Round Hill,
Hmm.
putting the engine behind this. And of course, when they said, who could produce this? There's only one guy in my mind, I think, and I probably speak for Mike and Rick too, that we love Mike. So we had a different relationship with him
Hmm.
than other producers. Not to say we didn't really enjoy working with a bunch of other guys on our catalog of albums that we had. But something special about Mike, he became like an extension of the band. It's just the way he is and his talent, and it all rolled together into a really great human being. So he was the obvious choice, and he actually embraced it like right out of the gate. He says, "Yeah, let's do this. I can make it happen." And he became the captain of the ship and did a fantastic job against all odds through COVID, which was a nightmare for him trying to do this,
Sure.
but he pulled it off.
Right on. Now, as far as the artists that are on it, was that Mike opening his Rolodex, or did you guys sit down and say, well, I'd love to hear Sebastian Bach's interpretation of this song or that song, or I mean, how did the lineup come together?
So I guess you'd start with Phil X because Phil was a band member.
Okay.
Obviously we did Edge of Excess with Phil. So
Hmm.
Mike reached out to Phil first and said, "Hey, what do you think?" And Phil's also like a real solid like LA anchor, top call musician,
Sure.
uh, famous for what he's done with Bon Jovi after he left Triumph. And Phil was like all over. He's like, "Yeah, and I'll do the first song." So that's how Allied Forces came together. So I think that was kind of like lit the fuse to get things rolling. And of course, Phil works with a lot of the top guy. He knows the guys in Slash's band, and he pulled those guys in, and kind of one thing led to another. But yeah, to your question, direct answer, no, it was Mike's Rolodex. I mean, I think when you're touring, the way we were in the 70s and 80s, like a lot of the bands are just passing ships in the night.
Hmm.
So yeah, there was some bands that we had personal relationships with. Lawrence Gowan obviously is a buddy of ours
Sure.
from Styx.
Thanks.
Alex Lifeson from Rush, and the other band members of Envy of None. Great friends of ours up here in Canada. But and Sebastian, of course, had played with us before live on stage,
Hmm.
um, just because he's Sebastian.
Right.
So yeah, he was. I think he was probably the second call, and Sebastian just jumped all over it like he does, like he did when he came on, played with us on stage and stuff. So it was really cool to have those guys really kickstart it, and it just kind of gained momentum. And then along came so many of the other artists, and we admire all of them, and we're just kind of bowled over that they all felt the to jump in on this.
Sure. Hey, it's Chris Akin from the classic metal show Chris Akin Presents and the Seth Williams Show, straight from the uncensored heart of the CMS network. We've just been crowned a certified Rumble creator, and that means we're bringing the heat. All our shows, commercial free, baby. Advanced episode drops sometimes months before the normal release, so you're not stuck waiting. You'll get all this plus exclusive content for Rumble Premium subscribers that'll blow your mind. And with Rumble Premium, you'll get every CMS Network show and all of Rumble's other videos with no ads and no fluff. This is our official home, Rumble. It's raw, powerful, and unfiltered. You want in? Just hit us up at rumble.com/register/classic metal show to sign up for free commenting, chat live, and just your ability to join the chaos of all of our shows. Then while you're there, swing by any of our videos, smash that Rumble Premium button, and level up. Subscribe now. Don't sleep on this. Hit the link in the description. Now, did musically, you guys, the three core guys, you know what the songs are supposed to sound like. And I'm going to take a jump at this. I'm not a musician, but I'm going to take a stab that whenever you hear somebody else do your stuff, you hear what you think it should sound like, not what they're doing. Is that accurate?
It's a good question. I don't really know. I think that there were two directions that were taken. I'll say this. So if you look like, say, what Nancy Wilson did, she, in heart, all her weaving in her vocal melodies and the sort of this soft, nuanced cadence that she has, very, very distinctive, from her sister, Anne, who's more, I don't know, cutting or more
aggressive, maybe.
Aggressive. That's a good word. And so to put her on this is where I think Mike's magic comes in, like to put her on Fight the Good Fight, and turned it into her song, turned it into a signature move for that took the song on her road, not the Triumph road, so to speak. And the same thing happened with Envy of None. David Steinberg, the drummer, the track, the very sparse track he laid down, or Andy Curran's bass, and Alfio and Alex Lifeson, of course. No one plays guitar the way Alex Lifeson plays guitar. So it created a magic. And then, of course, you add on Maya's vocals, and she's again, I would say kind of in the Nancy category of I sing my way. I don't copy anybody, or I have my own. Not that the others copied us, but some of the singers are able to take the original version and just kind of go, okay, that's the melody, that's the lyric, bang, as opposed to just I'm going to reinvent it. So when I listen to those two tracks, I go that you almost would not know that they're Triumph tracks unless you listen carefully. They sound completely remade and original. Some of the tracks that were closer to the original, or halfway in between, like let's say All That Forces that Phil did, like he broke it up in a different way. It sounds like Phil X, and it sounds like him playing with the drills or something. Maybe back when he was in Triumph, maybe that's that version of Triumph. It sounds like. You go over to some of the songs that were a little closer when. Lawrence did Somebody's Out There, pretty much stuck to the original melody. And he's played Triumph songs before.
Sure.
And he's such a close friend too. So I don't know, maybe he wanted to stick to the original version. When I heard Mickey Thomas from Starship sing Spellbound, I was blown away because he sang the same, more or less the same melody that I sang, but he put the Mickey Thomas special treatment on it, and I was already a fan of his.
Sure.
He's got such a marvelous voice. So it was kind of like it was all over the map, and forwards and backwards, Chris. It was just like for us getting the rough cuts from Mike. Every so often. It was very slow, by the way, because of COVID. So we weren't getting them every week. We were getting them every month or two.
Okay.
But we were just constantly blown away with these great players, the drummers, the bass players, the guitarists. I mean, it's just, give me a break. How much better can it get?
Right. Well, and you're hitting on one of the things that I was going to bring up to you anyway, which is probably my favorite way to look at this record is that you did it, especially with the singers, you did it with singers that are not trying to mimic you guys. You know, Dee Snider doing Lay It on the Line. That does not sound like the Triumph version of it at all, but it does. If that makes any, you know, it sounds like Dee.
I get exactly what you're saying. In that particular song, it's kind of like, well, the track kind of sounds like it could be
Mm-hmm.
Triumph, but you put Dee Snider's vocal on there, and now you're talking about, a more aggressive, deeper tone than Rick, and not sort of the high searing vocal as much as it's more the high power vocal. That was one where again Mike Clink would know because he's
Mm,
worked with Dee. He would know that he could do that and he could perform that song. I mean, I wouldn't put that song to my worst enemy because it's very hard to sing.
right.
It's like, give me something easy. But D knocked it out of the park. So he's a great singer, probably, more than people realize sometimes the hidden talents when you
Mm-hmm.
only listen to an artist perform their music and then you hear them do something else, kind of like, Dean Castronovo, of course, everyone knows is
Sure.
unbelievable in Journey,
Mm-hmm.
unbelievable singer. But when you put his voice on a Triumph song, Never Surrender, which doesn't sound anything like a Journey track,
Right.
suddenly you see, oh, here's another side of Dean that maybe we didn't see. I mean, I was totally shocked with Dean's. Not he's a great drummer, but I'm shocked with his
Oh
vocals
yeah.
because he's off the charts. He's the best. He's the best singing drummer. I don't
Dude,
know.
I've literally said it to Dean. He is the best singer that's not a singer, maybe in history. He really is. There's no one better.
Yeah, he's really on the top of the charts in that regard, isn't he?
He really
Yeah.
is. He's
Yeah.
amazing. Another guy I wanted to ask you about working with, and forgive my ignorance again, not a musician, just somebody that interviews a lot of them. Slash. I know a bunch of people that have worked with Slash, whether it's in Snake Pit or Guns N' Roses or side projects, whatever. I get the impression from talking to everybody that he's super laid back when you meet him, but before you know him, he's super intimidating. Where does he lay with the Triumph with you guys? And did you guys give him any kind of guidance to play off of?
Well, here I think this is how that rolled out, and maybe this is you're right. Maybe there's that casual aspect. So I haven't met Slash myself. Mike Levine has hung with him,
Okay,
so they got some relationship from back in the day. On the other hand, Guns N' Roses were here recording at Metalworks, and
sure.
so Axel and company and Duff and the boys, they were great when they were here at Metalworks. Like everybody loved them, and of course it was the great Mike Clink that brought them here.
Right.
So there's that sort of connection there. And obviously Guns N' Roses came after Triumph, so we didn't
Hmm.
really cross paths on like festival stages or things like that.
Sure.
But there's no doubt, when they knocked it out of the park, they really knocked it out of the park. Slash is his own studio, so like a lot of guys, musicians, me being one with Metalworks, they really love their studios and so on. And I know that Mike works, in Slash's studio for some of this, and I think it was probably the relationship that Mike had with Slash, and maybe you'd have to ask Slash like what he thinks of Triumph, whether he loves us or hates us. I don't know, but he played a hell of a great guitar track, and we
Yeah, he
really
did.
really love what he did. Also, the way they did that track "I Live for the Weekend," where
Hmm.
bit of a sleeper in some cities. In other cities, this was like a staple Friday afternoon, like in Chicago, for example. I know over in the UK, it was very very strong song. The idea of using a duet on the vocal was really kind of, I think, again, a Mike Clink touch.
Hmm.
And, of course, Slash's guitar is so distinct. You could tell
Sure.
it's Slash. And the way the guitars are mixed together is, again, kind of a different version of the song, but it stays like rhythmically along with what was done originally. But I think the flourishes in the vocal and the guitars are really taking it to another level.
Right on, man. Well, we are talking with Gil Moore. We're talking about Magic Power, a tribute to Triumph. Fantastic release. And Gil, I gotta ask you, man, when you do a project like this, or when you're involved with a project like this, For you guys that are being tributized, what is the end goal? Is it to reinvigorate your own catalog, or is it to introduce new people that may not know Triumph but know Sebastian Bach or Dee Snider or Slash or whatever to your catalog? I mean, what is it that you hope is the end result a year from now when you look back and think about it?
Well, I guess I put it through two lenses. Like I think the inspiration originally comes from the record label,
Okay.
and they're looking at it like, hey, anything that pulls listeners back into the Triumph catalog is a good thing for the label. So that's I think their motivation. From our standpoint, um, it's a little bit different. It's because it's a humbling sort of thing to consider, and I started in a band. I never thought in 100,000 years, that we'd either get a gold record. I never thought in 100,000 years we'd have a tribute album or go in a Hall of Fame or have a documentary. All these things are fanciful, trinkets that are probably never going to happen to us. And then when it happens, you look at it and you go, "Holy Christ! How did all this take place? Like what a great ride this has been." So I think from us, to answer your question, like what do we hope to get out of it? To me, it's like the fans have been so loyal. Like if we had kept touring, say the way Iron Maiden did or the way AC/DC did, some of the bands that we played with, or our friends in Rush, kept going much, much longer. We would have been out there. We would have been connecting with those people that have been so important, supporting us. And again, back to those smaller cities where we love to go, as well as the majors, and really get in people's faces in slightly smaller buildings. But we didn't, because our lives changed around 1990, and we kind of went our separate ways and did our own thing. And what this does for me, this record, is it's kind of like, hey, here's a fantasy ride for our fans that were so loyal to us, to see other musicians playing our stuff, and maybe kind of it's not us doing it, it's not us on the road, let's say, but at least here's some fresh Triumph stuff. Thanks for being so so kind to us over the years, really, just by the fandom. The emails that roll in, that go through our website and so on, about so many people that have had, whether it's life-threatening illnesses or rough times in their lives or whatever. And they've made us realize that the positive nature of some of our lyrics has impacted them. And, I get, rock bands are, they're supposed to be dark and evil and, scary.
Right.
And I guess the Triumph had their those moments too. But at the end of the day, that isn't what stuck with Triumph. What stuck was these songs like Never Surrender that motivated, Fight the Good Fight, that kind of motivated people to get over hard times. So this kind of, I don't know, I'm meandering here, obviously. I think that's the connection to the fans. This album is a way to kind of go, hey, here's a salute to some of these songs, and hopefully they resonate with you in a slightly new way, maybe through a slightly different lens. And it's a good thing all the way around at that point.
Sure. Now, Gil.
Welcome to the ultimate experience for hard rock and heavy metal fans. Introducing the CMS Locals VIP app, your #1 destination for all things on the CMS network. Dive into the classic metal show, CHRIS Akin Presents, Seth Williams Show, and more, all in one place. It's free to get started, or elevate your experience with a subscription for just $4.99 a month. Go commercial-free, get advanced releases, and enjoy exclusive bonus episodes. Plus, it's the prime spot to chat with like-minded fans who love raw, uncensored commentary. Are you ready to rock? Download from your iOS or Android store, search for the CMS network, and join the community now. It's free, it's easy, and it's the best way to keep our shows with you every single day. Install the locals.com app today and follow the CMS network.
I know you guys, the three of you, have taken the big beating for years, decades even, about the not touring. And I'm not going to ask you, are you going to get back together? Yeah, I'm not going to ask that. What I will ask though is, and I'm looking at it through a different lens. I see maybe the best thing that you did was stop touring so that you don't end up like so many of your contemporaries with bad audio and bad video from bad YouTube videos showing the band getting older. Like, people, when they think about Triumph, and for better or for worse, the vision that you get is that 1983 US Festival stage and you guys just killing it. And I think you guys have done a great job at preserving that image as Triumph for eternity. Do you think that the not touring has helped your career or your value in the rock industry stay strong?
Yeah, it's a great question. And I mean, to me, I'm just so happy with the decisions that we made. Even though at the time, say for example, my decision to get off the road was personal because of my family for one positive reason. I wanted to be there to watch my kids grow up.
Sure.
Didn't want to be, staying in a hotel in Tuktoyaktuk instead of being there for my kids and going to, elementary school, picking them up and driving them there with my wife and stuff. That was extremely important to me. My mom was elderly and I'm an only child. I couldn't leave my mom alone. I just couldn't do it because she did everything for me my whole life. And when she needed me in the last decade of her life, I wasn't going to be in a hotel room a long ways away. And Mike had his own reasons. Rick wanted to do his solo stuff, as we know, and he did a bunch more recording in different genres and so on. We all had our motivations. And I mean, the other thing is the ride we had in Triumph was so good. And I mean, even the very last tour we played, the audiences were so great. And we kind of felt, now this is a good time to get off the bus because, we're kind of at a peak almost. And, then we felt kind of guilty. We went, Mike and I did at least, thought, well, the fans want what they want. We love Phil. Phil's a buddy. Incredible guitar player, as you know. And, I mean, we were blessed with one great guitar player in Rick. He's enough guitar player for a lifetime.
Right.
As a drummer, I will say it was great to be with such a great guitar player. Phil is the same. He's completely different. But again, he's a virtuoso. He's a master musician. And so the opportunity to make a record with Phil seemed like a really good thing. The record industry was kind of imploding right then, and
right.
Edge of Excess got off to a great start. We were on 100 stations in America right out of the gate, and then our record company dissolved. It was the funniest. It was a real Spinal Tap sort of scene, if you will. And we did some touring with Phil, but again, the for me anyway, the magnet pulling me back to home and being with my family was so strong that I just was not wanting to be out there. So to answer your question, does that actually benefit us at the end of the day? It's a good I don't know. I really don't know.
One of those, I guess, we can't determine.
I wouldn't change things. I would not go back and say, I want to tour. So the two things could have happened. One, the band does really well and actually, gets, bigger audiences and goes to a younger generation over time, as some have done. And then there's others where they kind of just gradually fade into the weeds, and then they're back in bars where they started. So I don't know. Pick your poison in life.
Right. No question. Well, Gil, it is fantastic to have anything Triumph related out there. It's certainly Magic Power, a tribute to Triumph, is available. Make sure you get it. Gil, where's the best place to tell people to go to actually buy something? Not stream it, but actually buy something.
That's a good question because I'm not an expert about that. I'm going to say Amazon, but that could be a rookie answer. I'm not sure. I can tell you it'll be pretty widely available. And we're going to be announcing our mixed reality tour, which is coming up. So that's another thing fans can look forward to. Just to answer your question about touring, hopefully we're going to get this off the ground. It's a lot of challenges, and Phil's going to lead the charge. We're going to we've got our fingers crossed right now that we'll get it out there in 2025, if not 2026.
Very good, man. Well, one more time, it is Magic Power, a tribute to Triumph. And Gil, this has been fun. Thanks for joining me once again on Chris Akin Presents.
Thanks for having me on, Chris. You have a good day.